is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome into ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. Want to say thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we're free and available wherever you download your podcast. And wherever you download your podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star review, a 5-star review, a 5-star review, a 5-star review, a 5-star review. I'm saying that for a reason, because once you leave us a 5-star review, everybody else will find out about us. We appreciate you, because share greatness. That's the motto for today on a good Monday. The bullpen tinkled that bad boy away over the weekend. We'll talk about whether or not I'm concerned or you're concerned. And then Falcons ended their preseason. What can we glean from it? Does it matter? We'll talk about that. And last but not least, and for the culture, it is time for a change in college football. And no, I'm not talking about NIL. We'll talk about all of that. But first, we got to talk about the Braves. They lose the series against the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend. And just to kind of get like an overview of it, Nolan Arenado doesn't like the Braves. He seems to do really well in crunch time when no moments come about. And then, like I mentioned before, A.J. Minter, Kenley Jansen, in back-to-back games just gave it away.
Yeah, and also, you know who else does not like the Braves? Tyler McNeil, because it was really a walk wasn't good enough. You know, him walking it off with a walk wasn't good enough Saturday. He had to come back Sunday and do more damage to the Braves. So yeah, that was painful to kind of watch. But yeah, I really do have a little bit of a concern. I want to be careful. I don't want to get to be a worrywart there, but
right.
I am concerned when I look at the numbers, and Kenley Jansen, I believe, is second in the majors with blown saves.
Yes.
That's scary. That is really, now that's concerning to me, because, I mean, when he does it like no other. But when he blows it, I mean, he blows it at the worst possible times. So Dansby Swanson does what Dansby's supposed to do, right? Hits a clutch 3-run home run to put you in position to get yet another series.
2 strikes and 2 outs, by the way. That seems to be a theme. Like, what is that?
Like, that is what you call clutch. Man, talk about a good eye. Talk about a good eye. So, yeah, he gets you in position to get yet another road win, but then you get into trouble with A.J. Minter, and now you're 0-10 in road rubber match games this season. That's the other thing that bothers me, because that is about closing. That is about finding a way to dig it out of the trenches and get it done. So no, those two things do concern me. And yeah, that bullpen definitely made me side-eye them.
You know what? I mean, I understand. I definitely understand your concern, but I know for me, you know, when you think about certain things and how this team has done this year, right? I know that was a big series. I know they should have gotten that series. They could have swept the series, you know, if you kind of look, you know, hindsight 2020, you're looking at certain situations that they were in and how close they were. But I can't make myself too concerned, because I know what A.J. Minter's been doing primarily this season, and he's been pretty doggone solid. And I know what Kenley Jansen, like you said, I know he's up there in the blown saves category, but, you know, he's come up big in moments when the Braves needed him throughout the season. But like you said, when you're talking about a relief pitcher, these guys are going to go through those moments, right? Go through these moments. And I think that Brian Snitker is a guy that's going to stick with those guys when those moments come up in the postseason. And I, you know what? I'm okay with that, because, you know, you have a guy, just in case things get too out of whack from a save standpoint, in Raisel Iglesias. I like what I've seen when he's come into the fray. And, you know, if you have an option, right? You know, you can go to church. You can go to church whenever you want to with Raisel Iglesias if the things get too crazy. But overall, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, so it's like every time I get excited, then I'm thinking,
like, no,
then I'm triggered. So, but no, I agree with you. That's why I said I'm a little worried, but I don't want to get. I'm definitely not panicked. Definitely not.
Exactly.
Braves are a long way from panic. It's just would have been nice, like you said, you get right there and you could have won the series, and you could have actually swept the series. Would have been nice. have pulled that off.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when you think about, other things that came out of this series as well, Ronald Acuna did not play in back-to-back games. Braves are off tonight as well, so that's about 3 consecutive days of rest. We'll talk about the level of concern there, but first, tell the folks about what's going on at betonline.net.
Well, everybody, we are minus 5 days away from the season opener for Georgia. They're taking on Oregon in the Chick-fil-A Challenge. And
Dan
listen,
Lanning returns.
I know, right? The return of Dan Lanning. And the line is 7,
whatever that means.
Right, whatever that means. But what you guys are interested in knowing about is what it means for them to be the 17-point favorite for this game, right? And so if you want to see if that line moves or how that line moves this week, you need to check it out on betonline.net, because that's your resource for scores and all sorts of info to put you in position to bet the right way. Now, that can be for college football, that can be for the NFL, NBA, MLB, but also you look at those niche sports like MMA or golf, you can get information there as well. And what I like is the fact that they have podcasts for those of us who might be beginners in the whole betting space. They'll give you all the information, all the tools and tips that you need so that you can bet accordingly. So again, after you take a listen and a look at ATL Day Ones, your next stop should be betonline.net. You can definitely get to them on your laptop or even on your mobile device. Again, that is betonline.net, because that is where the game starts.
Yes, indeed. And where the game did not start for Ronald Acuna over the weekend, because he played in the game Friday. You saw a little bit of issues there on Friday evening, and then Saturday and Sunday they sat him to give him some rest. And I think one of the things that when you talk about listen to Ronald Acuna speaking through an interpreter after those games during the interview, he talked about how he had intense pain over the past couple of days. Yeah. Now that could be very alarming, because when a lot was made about the process in which the Braves kind of sped him up a little bit, and he came back a little bit before they had originally planned, because he was doing so well to start off when he came back. But I think that the thing about with those ACL injuries, you talk about the year, coming back after that year date, and you just really don't. A guy like Ronald Acuna, you really don't expect him to kind of be normal and when it comes to a rehabilitation standpoint. Mm-hmm. So the team doctors don't seem to be concerned. So I'm not necessarily concerned, because this is all within that same time frame. But I think just with him being such a great player, I think it's just a matter of you just really saying, okay, he's a really great player, so he's going to be great at doing rehab. So he should be ahead of everyone else in that category as well. And I don't think that's a fair expectation.
Yeah, it's not. And it's a tough thing, because it makes me a little bit concerned in the fact that Brian Snitker said, hey, Acuna Jr. is just going to have to play through it. The pain is there. It's been there for a while. He's just going to have to play through the season. And listen, we know Acuna Jr. is going to tough it out, and he'll do everything that he can to put the Braves back in position to make a serious run in the postseason. But when you hear that, it's really scary, because you've also seen where when an individual comes back, when an athlete comes back too soon, and they're giving it all they've got, and the body's just not ready, that could put them in position to maybe aggravate that injury again, or maybe sustain another one. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, wow, I hope that they're able to, in a metered way, kind of give him the space that he needs here and there. I understand what Snit's saying. I can respect it and appreciate it, but I hope there are opportunities maybe in softer parts of their schedule where they're able to give him some time off. But what does encourage me is in the fact, and I'm kind of sneaking ahead to our next question, so I'm just going to tell you right away, because it's the positive from the weekend series, but also from the game last night, is that you continue to see consistency at the plate from a Michael Harris II. So yes. At least where you're not getting it from Acuna Jr. maybe to the level that you want, you got Michael Harris II. To me, that was one of the most positives from this, most positive takeaways, going 4 for 4 last night. And B, Ozzie Albies is starting a rehab assignment this week.
Yes, no, that's the thing that you kind of keep. That's the positive, right? That's the thing that you kind of look for. Like, all right, because we've been kind of hitting that, ATLB's making his way back, and then now to get the confirmation that he is starting the rehab assignment, and though that's the type of bat you want back in this lineup, right? If you're gonna have Ronald Acuna missing some time from here and there, so. And we know that Dansby has been stepping in at that leadoff spot with over the weekend with Ronald Acuna not being in there. He's been playing clutch. I love what I've been seeing from Travis d'Arnaud.
Yes.
Travis like, man, don't forget about me. I can still play. So because it's so many. You talk about the rookies so much with Vaughn Grissom and Michael Harris, like you mentioned. We can't forget about the guys that that were catalysts last year for this World Series team. So, and I think these guys are still here. So, I think it's going to be a collective effort. When and if Ronald Acuna misses some time, but I think that's definitely a positive for sure. Another one, I think that when you think about what it is, that can have a positive takeaway is just the collective effort. Like I mentioned, is for bringing everybody coming together and saying, you know what, even though Ronald's going to be out, we still have to, do our thing. And that's what you want to see from that pitching staff. Those guys, Jake Odorizzi had a no-hitter going into the 6th inning. You want to see him continue to do those things like that, because we know what time it is once that postseason comes around. That rotation is going to shrink, and more than likely he might be the odd man out. But you definitely want him to stick around and be pitching like that so you can have some long relief, just in case that's needed in the postseason. So I'm definitely kind of excited what to expect from the Braves going forward. Like I mentioned, they are out tonight, and they will be starting tomorrow against the Colorado Rockies at the beginning of a six-game homestand. Excuse me. And hey, these are the type of series that we talk about. They have to get a win.
Yes. And fortunately, the Mets lost last night, so at least that kind of levels things out to keep the Braves just 3 games back. But speaking of odd men out, we're going to talk on the other side about some guys who may potentially be odd men out come Tuesday at 4 p.m. We're going to break down and download on Falcons Jaguars and talk to you guys a little bit about who we think made the cut and made the case to make the cut, and maybe who will be the odd man out. We'll talk to you about it on the other side. This is ATL Day Ones.